Alright, so you need to make your last tab. Your last tab is going to be called application. So I'm going to do applications of quadratics. Then you're going to pause the video and copy all of this down. These will be the steps that we're going to follow. So question 1 says the Empire State Building is 1,250 feet tall. If an object is thrown upward from the top of the building at an initial velocity of 38 feet per second, its height as seconds after it is thrown is given by the function h of s equals negative 16s squared plus 38s plus 1250. From that, they'll ask you one of these 5 questions. So the first one is, how long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? So the first thing that you have to do is press Y and put in the equation, because you have to have a visual of what this is. So you're going to take your calculator and you're going to press Y equals, which is right here on the top hand corner. Okay, if there's already something there, go ahead and clear it out. So just press clear it out. And then you're just going to type in the equation. So you're going to type in the equation exactly as you see it. So you're going to write negative 16, and s is going to be our x. You could put s in the calculator, but that's just too much work. X squared, so that's the x squared button right there, plus 38x, this is x, plus 1250. All right, once you put in y equals, you're going to press graph. So you're going to hit graph. All right, it's going to do something. And right now this is showing that it's working. It's finished working, okay? It's not, some of it you're going to be able to see it off the window that you currently have, but most of the times you're going to have to fix your window. So there are 3 things that you're going to do. All right, you're going to fix your window standardly, and what I mean by that is you're going to press the window button. All right, most calculators already have it from negative 10 to 10, so the minimum on the x value, the maximum on the x value, and remember x is like this, so it's saying the graph, they want to show you the graph from negative 10 to positive 10. They just want to look at this window. They want it to go up by 1, and on the y it's going to go from negative 10 to 10, so from the bottom from negative 10 to 10. Sometimes that's not enough, so we're going to try and fix our window. Okay, what it is you have to just guess numbers. All right, so let me say that I want to look at from negative 100. I want to start from negative 100 on the x, and I want to go to positive 100 on the positive side, and I want to do the same thing for y, negative 100 to positive 100, and I'm going to see, and then press graph, and I'm going to see if that fixes my problem. So you see it's working, it's finished working. You can see the graph a little bit better, but I still can't see the parabola, which is what I'm looking for. So if you can't figure out, you guess different values until you find it. If you can't figure out the window, then what you're going to do is press zoom fit. So zoom fit, so you're going to go to zoom and then zoom fit. So you're going to look for fit. You're going to go down until you see the word fit, zoom fit, which is 0. And you're going to press enter. So zoom fit, enter. And what that's going to do is going to fit the parabola into a window for you. So you see, you can see the top of the parabola, right? However, to do your calculations, you can't do it while it's on zoom fit. What you have to do after that is zoom out. So you're going to zoom out in order for you to see the parabola correctly, okay? So again, zoom out is going to be under zoom. So zoom and then zoom out. So you're going to go down, then press enter. Now, it's on zoom out, so every time you press enter, it's going to zoom out of the window for you. And you can see, I can now see my parabola. So if I can't guess the right window when I press window, I can zoom fit and then zoom out. So this is now my graph. All right, so I'm just going to do a sketch of my graph on this side so that we can kind of talk about it. All right, so it looks something like this. Now, if you think about what this person is doing, right, they're standing on a building and it's 1,250 feet tall. They're going to throw the ball up and then it's going to come back down. So I should expect it to go up and then come back down. Okay, so really what it is I've zoomed out too much. So I need to zoom back in because it needs to go. So if this is always going to be time here. So time, and that can be in seconds, minutes, hours. And then this is going to be the height of the ball, the object, or whatever, and that can be in feet, meters, whatever units they give you. Now, you can't have negative time or negative height. What does that mean? So if this is time, okay, this is positive time, this is negative time. You can't have anything on this side of the graph. All right, so anything on this side is not going to work. So you can't have any of this on this side. So I'm going to cross out what I already have on the left. So I cannot have anything over here. But I also cannot have negative height, right? So once it doesn't hit the ground and go into the ground, right? So here's my height. I also can't have negative height. So I can't have anything on this side. And I cannot have anything on this side. So the only part I can have is my top right hand corner. So that's what I always need to focus. And I should expect something like this. If I'm standing somewhere, right? I'm standing over here on this, let's say this is the building. I'm going to throw the ball up and then it's going to come back down eventually, right? So I should expect something like that. You need to make your window look like that in order to answer the question. And you can see this window, everything looks like it's on the bottom. It's not really on the bottom, it's just that everything is zoomed out too much. So I'm going to go back to zoom and I'm going to zoom in and we'll press enter. Okay, so now that's zoomed in too much. Actually, I'm just going to make sure I type this in correct. Okay, so I'm going to mess around with the window. See how the window has already given me that. I'm going to make my x minimum and x maximum a little bit smaller and see if that does anything. So say -10 to 10, just my x, because you can see my y value is going to be big. And then I'm going to hit graph. Okay, so this is negative what, 16,000, negative 20,000, and window. So that's because I didn't use negative 20,000 and 1,300. Let's see what that does. So you're just going to mess around with the window and you can see it's slightly above, which is what I needed, right? It was slightly above. Looks like I have too much negative y, so I'm going to go to window. I have too much minimum right here. Okay, so I don't really need that, so I'm going to just say -10 actually, and then hit graph. That's better. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to make my x a little bit bigger because I need to see the whole thing. I need to see where it goes right here. So I'm going to make my x value a little bit longer, and my y I'm also going to make that a little bit more. So window, go y, needs to be longer, so my maximum, let me make that 1,500, and my minimum, I said I'm going to go a little lower, so let me say -50. Oh, that wasn't changing. I was changing my y, my x maximum actually. So we're going to make that 20. Graph, and you're just kind of playing around with the numbers until you see it. And this is what I'm looking for, because now I'm looking for this part right here. When I get my graph fitted in my window, I can then answer my questions. Okay, so it might take you a little bit of fooling around to kind of fix it out, and you just have to play around with it. But once you kind of get it in the window looking like it should, then it's really easy to calculate all the questions. So let's go ahead and calculate all the questions. First question is, how long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? So what they're asking you, when I throw the ball, I'm going to throw it up and then it's going to come and hit the ground here, right? When it hits the ground here, what is this time right here? So this will be my question for A. What is my time? So where number is over here. So I want to find where it intercepts the x-axis, or I want to find the root, or I want to find the 0 or the solution. Remember, we've done this before, right? In order to do that, I need to find out where it crosses this x-axis. I'm going to go second, then I'm going to hit calculate, which is the trace button. And then I want to find what? The 0. So remember, that point right there is called a 0, a solution, a root, or an x-intercept. So I'm going to find the 0. Okay. Then you have left bound and right bound. Okay. So you're going to type in, you're going to say move to the left of 0. And this is your left bound one. Then press enter. All right, so my left bound is going to the left of the 0. So the left of the 0, which is over here. So before it gets to the bottom, press enter. My right bound is to the right of 0. So just go all the way down until you can't, well, not until you can't go any further, because you can go, just keep going all the way down. Press enter and then guess, and then it should give you a solution. I'm going to change my window so you can see that. So I'm going to go window, and I need it further down on the Y. So my Y minimum, I'm going to make it negative 100. Hit graph, see if that shows me anything, because I need to basically get a point here and a point here. All right, I'll make it a little bit more. So let's do negative 250, so that you can really see clear. Okay, perfect. So then I hit second, calculate, move to the left. We're gonna hit 0. So I should have said, actually, so I should say 0 first. All right, hit 0. And then move to the left of the 0. So here's the 0, right? So we're gonna move anywhere on the left, doesn't matter. So it's already on the left, press enter. Okay, then it's gonna ask you right bound. So it's gonna then ask you right bound, and what you need to do is move to the right of the 0. So as your notes, it's gonna be moved to right of 0. So it's gonna say right bound, so move to the right. So basically anywhere past the 0 on the right hand side, which is about there, and then you're gonna press enter. Press enter. Okay, and then it's going to ask you guess. So it's going to ask you guess, and you're going to say enter, and then it's going to give you your 0. Now remember, when it crosses the x-axis, your y value has to be 0, and that makes sense because y value is 0. When y is 0, x is this. So my 0 happens at 10.105748. And now, depending on what the question is asking, you round to the nearest whatever it's asking. So let's, for our notes' sake, let's round to the nearest 100. So remember, nearest 100, all right, is 2 numbers after the decimal. So 2 numbers, here's a decimal, 2 numbers after. You put a line. What does this value do to this? If it's 5 or greater, it makes this go up. So this is going to go up by 1. So it's going to be x equals 10.11 seconds. Now you need to put your units, because they'll mark you wrong if you don't, because it's time. It crosses at 10.11 seconds. So how long does it take for it to the ground? 10.11. So the biggest thing that you need to worry about is your whole window. What is the maximum height of the object? So now let's think about what that's asking. If you go back to your graph, it's saying when does it reach the highest point? So if this is height, your highest point is right here. So they're asking for what is the value right there. So this is going to be your answer for B. What is this value right here? And again, once you have your window done, it's really, really simple. You just press second, calculate, and you want your maximum height, right? So what do you think you're going to hit? Maximum. So you're going to hit maximum. You can press 4 or go down. All right, so again, you're going to press maximum. All right, and again, it's going to ask you the left bound and the right bound. What you need to do is go to the left of the maximum and the right of the maximum. So your next note is move to the left of max. So left, this is the left bound. And you're going to press enter. Okay, so we're going to take the cursor. See, it's down here. Here's your maximum over here. You need to just go to the left of that. So we're going to go all the way, and you just press the arrow, and it's going to take you all the way to the left. Okay, you're going to press enter. Then it's going to ask you right bound. So now you're going to go into the right. So move to the left is what you've already done. So now you're going to do move to the right of your maximum, and that's going to be your right bound. And you're going to press enter on that. Okay, so my right bound. So I'm going to move to the right. Here's my maximum. Anywhere on the right hand side, just make sure you get really away from it. So that's fine. Anywhere on the right is fine. Then it's going to ask you guess. So it's going to say guess. And you're going to press enter. So guess, enter. And it's going to guess for you. So it's saying the maximum happens when x is 1.1. So over here, it's 1.1 seconds. And the y value, the maximum point, is 1,272 feet. So the question was, what is the maximum height? So remember, we needed this distance here, so this distance is a y, so that's going to be, so my max, I'll just write it on the side here. My maximum height is 1272.5625, and if we're rounding again to the nearest hundred with two numbers after the decimal, so two numbers after the decimal, and then what does this 2 do to this? Nothing. It keeps it the same. So 5 and above makes it go up by 1. If it's anything below that, it keeps the same. So your maximum height is 1272.56. And what are the units? If it's height, it's in feet. Then the question is, how long did the object take to reach maximum height? So now you reach the maximum height of 1272, right? How long did that take? So how many seconds did it take? Well, we already have the answer here, because this is your y value and this is your x value, and this is in your x value is in seconds. So it's saying when y is this, x is this. So that's 1.11 seconds. So that one you don't even need to calculate, it's already there. So this says your x value is 1.1875024, and again, if it's the nearest hundredth, two numbers after the decimal, what does that next number do? If it's 5 or above, makes it go up 1, so it's going to go up to x equals 1.19 seconds. Okay. All right, and then final, we got two more. After how many seconds will the object be 100 feet above the ground? How high is the object after 5 seconds? Okay, so this one requires a little bit of work, so I'm going to actually skip this one, do this one first, because this is already pretty much done for us, and then I'm going to come do this question. So the question is, how high is the object after 5 seconds? So what it's saying is that if I was to put in the number 5, so this is time, right? If I put in 5, what's my y value? What is my y value? So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to say, here's my graph, and we're going to put in 5 as x, because x is seconds, is time. So again, you're going to hit second, calculate, and we're going to put in a value. And you see how it says x equals? Because it's telling you what value do you want to put on the x-axis. And because x-axis is time, that's what lets you know that that's the x-axis. So we'll put it in the value 5. So I'm going to press second, calculate. And then what did I do? I hit value. And then I put x equals 5. And then I'm going to press enter. So once I press enter, it gives me at x equals 5, when it's 5 seconds, when it's 5 seconds here, it's telling me that the feet is 1,040. So when x is 5, the feet is 1040. So how high is the object? The object is 1,040 feet high. Now we're going to come back and do this last second, because this one says, after how many seconds will the object be 10 feet above the ground? So it's asking you backwards. So it's saying when the object is 100 feet, so let's say like 100 feet is over here, how many seconds is that? So 100 feet here, and this will give me the seconds, right? So remember, with this one, you're going to have to rewrite the equation. So let's make some notes here. All right, so you're going to rewrite equation. So let's go ahead and do that. So what was the equation that we first started off with? Right here. So h of s equals negative 16s squared plus 38s plus 1250. Okay, and what they're asking you is, what is it when the height is 100 feet? So the height right here is 100 feet. So when it says rewrite the equation, that's what we're going to do. And then you're going to plug in 100 feet for y, for the y value. So this is the y, and this would be x if we were doing it x and y. So the 100 feet goes right here, equals negative 16s squared plus 38s plus 1250. Now, in order for us to use the calculator, it just always has to be equal to 0. So all I need to do is move this 100 to the other side. And what does 100 become? Negative 100. Okay, so plug in for y, move 100 to other side. Okay, So that's now going to be, I'll write it over here and I'm going to squeeze it. 0 equals negative 16s squared plus 38s. And then 1250 minus 100 is 1150 plus 1150. Okay, this is my new equation. So now I'm going to do y equals new equation. And then, so y equals my new equation. So I'm going to go y equals, and because it's already typed in, the only thing that's really going to change is that number at the end. I'm going to slide over to the end. So I'm going to go over to the end and I'm going to type in 1150. So it's the same equation, it's just the number at the end has changed. And then I'm going to hit graph. So I'm going to follow the same as before. So I'm going to hit graph. It's going to graph it for me. So type in new equation, graph. And then we're going to calculate that time, the 0. Okay, so because the question was how many seconds will the object be 100 feet. Okay, so I've already made my new equation, and then I'm going to say second, calculate, and then I'm going to hit my 0. So I'm going to hit second, calculate, and then I'm going to hit 0. Second, calculate, then I'm going to hit my 0. Press enter. And it's telling me, oh, my left bound. So again, left of the 0. So here's my 0. Anywhere left, so that's left already. So press enter. Right bound, right of the 0. So come all the way down. Make sure you pass the 0 on the right hand side. Press enter. And then guess, yes. So it's telling me that my x is 9.7 seconds. So my x equals 9.748175. And again, if we were doing it to the nearest 100 with 2 numbers after the decimal, what does the 8 do? Make it go up 1. So x equals 9.75 seconds. So when is it 100 feet? At x equals 9.7 seconds. That's pretty much what it is. Now it seems a little bit long just because I'm teaching you how to put it in the calculator, but if you can just figure that out, then you'll be good to go.